All right, welcome everybody. We're about to talk about some serious shit today. Welcome to the Inferno. This is the Temptation Podcast, episode 5. Haven't done one in a hot minute, but it's important that I come on. Been in contemplation, been in prayer meditation mode, been in quiet mode. This is the topic today of I would never have believed it until I seen it. So we are talking today about entity possession. And, prior to this, I've known that there's been a higher power. And I have also known that there is negative energies. But recently I witnessed, no doubt in my mind, entity possession. I mistakenly thought it was possible drugs that were being used by somebody who I loved. But the erratic behavior and the breakdown of pretty much a ego breakdown, a psychosis breakdown, leading up to what I witnessed with the topic today, which is witnessing somebody that you love open themselves up to entity possession. And we're going to get a little biblical here, even though I know the Bible's been manipulated. There's still throughout history this known fact that there's dark and light, and we're talking about evil and versus good, the bad wolf, the good wolf. So what are the sins that open yourself up to entity possession? Because again, I would have never really believed it until I witnessed it. I witnessed somebody I love, pupils turn completely black and their voice change. And this is a person I've known for 12 years of my life. A lot of things that you'll notice when they are in sin and not repenting, they may say that, and this is the crazy part too, if it is a person that you know that claims to be religious or spiritual or whatever, they can say whatever they want to say, but it's in their heart that is the truth in the way. So again, I witnessed this with somebody that I love. 12 years known this person and completely seen a dark side as the mask fell. So we can kind of relate it to, we all have ego, and we do have sometimes narcissistic actions or portrayed through how we treat people or how we treat ourselves. So we all have that dark light, right? But I'm talking full on demonic entity possession, where somebody you love has opened themselves up to sin. What do I consider sin? Repeating things over and over again and not changing their behaviors. So this entity possession can take hold of you, can take hold of me. We're all open to it, right, on this earth plane, through alcohol. So if you have somebody in your life or you yourself have struggled with a lot of alcohol usage or drug use, and you backslide into that, you now open the gates to this hell, so to speak, and entity possessions. They call alcohol spirits for a reason, because when you're over consuming alcohol, it's spirits, right? Spirits, think about it. Alcohol is one of those sins where if you backslide into any of these things that I talk about today, you literally open yourself up to the entity possession. I believe it's throughout history has always been this way. I mean, even Yeshua the Christ was casting out demonic spirits from people, but today's world with the technology, if you choose your free will through God, having this human experience, to utilize that energy on the internet for what you take in through your eyes. So pornography, alcohol overconsumption, sex with the Jezebel spirit, which in my case is what definitely happened, a combination of these things. If you're having sex and you're supposed to be in a marriage or a commitment with somebody and you're having sex outside of that without mutual knowing of this, that entity, that demonic spirit can enter you. And then that person who is always using those sexual escapisms without protection, mind you. They don't give a shit about what the outcome may be. And they will literally come back to you and sleep with you after sleeping with somebody else unprotected. And then you are exposed to not only the energy of that other person, but the energy of those two people combined, and also the sexually transmitted diseases that they don't give a shit. It's about fleshly self-gratification. So those are some of the things that can happen. I also witnessed that. The person that I loved come into my bed one night, was turned away, rolled over from one other side. I energetically picked up on that immediately. Immediately started calling upon the Christ's divine white light to protect myself and protect that person, unbeknownst to me what was happening at the time. So pornography and perversion. So what we're taking in, and the internet has sped up this fuel of people choosing with their free will to indulge in perversion, pornography. This is another sin, because what happens is no matter how much you get of that, how much you take in of that, it will never satisfy you. So this is where this entity possession can also enter you. So what you take in through your eyes, through your ears, that is another way. And I would have never believed it until I witnessed it. I'll just say that. I cannot reiterate that enough. Again, I've always had a belief system of dark and light, but really it's not just dark, because dark can be just depression or the dark night of the soul that we go through. I'm talking evil versus good. Never would have believed it until I witnessed it. Fucking eerie. Sad. Witnessing somebody that you love completely change. It's like the veil drops, their eyes, pupils gone dark, and their voice change. It was the most eerie, and I have no doubt in my mind the only thing that protected me was knowing my intimate, true, in my heart relationship with the Christ energy, because I do oracle, I do astrology, all of that in guidance just on our journey on the earth plane, but nothing protects you like the divine Christ white light. Nothing, because that's in your heart. And again, you can't just be saying that, oh, I'm spiritual, or oh, whatever. You have to have it in your heart. These people have closed off their hearts. These people most times have been wounded as a child, and instead of growing and sitting by themselves, having a connection and intimate relationship with our Creator, they can act like they do, right? That fake persona, that mask that they wear. But truthfully, what ends up happening when they choose to not sit with themselves and they seek that validation outside of themselves, whether it be emotional abandonment when they were a child, or a mother figure who wants to put on that fake persona of her family just being so perfect, but yet the child has no way to fit and fill that fake persona of a fake, perfect family, because they have wounds. They have wounds they haven't dealt with. They have wounds they haven't sat with. They haven't connected to God, Creator, Source. And so what happens is this ego builds and builds and it builds. Again, ego healthy and in check is wonderful, but an ego out of control, that narcissistic personality trait that takes over, they live only by flesh. They live by only self-gratification, meaning what can I get from you? And I don't give a shit what the collateral damage is to people who have loved me. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to discard you and throw you away like you've never meant anything. I'm going to pretend this world never existed with you, because I'm going to go on. And they never take time alone. This is another thing you'll notice. They do not self-reflect, and they cannot be alone with them and Creator. They have to go, boom, shack up with somebody else, male or female, whichever you're dealing with here. This can also be a family member that you're dealing with. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. But they will go directly from you, put you in a little box. And I will say this for my own example. My daughter, my adult daughter, my home of 12 years, my 9 pets and animals and myself as a wife were put into a little box, sealed up like a coffin, thrown on the shelf, and boom, off to somebody else because you're not useful to me anymore. It's very, very toxic. It's very abusive. But when you have the realization of what you're dealing with and that this person, through their free will, has chosen not to face their wounds, and they choose to be out for the fleshly things and seeking gratification outside of themselves, validation outside of themselves. This is horrid. It's horrid. Draw the line in the sand like Yeshua did, and no matter how much your heart hurts, get the fuck out of it. Whether you were the one discarded or you're the one leaving, get out of it. It's not a communion between God if you have wedding vows. It is literally a demonic spirit working through the person through their free will by dabbling in these things that are opening themselves up to the entity possession. It's bizarre. It's painful. But the realization of, again, I would have never believed it until I seen it. And I seen it. And there's no fucking unseeing it. It's evil. They are out to destroy you. They are energy vampires, whether it be emotional validation. Some people, it's about physical validation. Some people, whatever it is that strokes and fills their empty vessel. And they do know what they're doing. They truly know what they're doing. They have chosen to not face their shadow. They have chosen to not connect with God, Creator, Source, the Christ white light. They have chosen to disconnect from their souls. And again, you can find yourself in trouble with this. Me being an empath, sensitive soul, definitely connected to Christ, love the Christ in my heart, pure person, compassionate, loving person, would do anything for the people that I love or try to help out others. You are prey to these type of people, and you really have to have the full armor of God protecting your thoughts. And again, a lot of us get pulled into this, not even knowing and realizing that these people are a wolf in sheep's clothing, and they do know what they're doing. They will build you up just to fucking knock you down. They will lift you up and pretend they love you just to keep you as a supply. But when they're done with you, thrown away, garbage, onto the next person who don't know, who's not trusting their God-given intuition. Because you see, this is the thing that happens. I was just loving. I thought my marriage was happier and more healthy than ever, and it was at one season. But when the person started adding alcohol in 7 nights a week, this person started emotionally having an affair, physically having an affair with a Jezebel spirit. I became the enemy, and it's very black and white for them. When they are done with you, they will throw you away. You're now their enemy. They will smear you, and this happened in my instance as well. I know this is reaching the ears of somebody else who needs it today, because I am newly, freshly going through this, but through the power of the Holy Spirit and the Christ within me, I am seeing more clearly. I'm coming out of the fog. And that's another thing they will do. Suck your energy like an energy vampire out of you, because they are so empty on the inside. It's actually very sad. But this is where we get in trouble. Our empathy, our compassion, our vulnerability. We will love them and never give up on them. And so God sees what's not being revealed to you. And sometimes that's where you'll get the discard by the person that you've been involved with. They will just abruptly leave you, like 360, leave your head spinning, put your guts on the floor, and not only while your guts are on the floor, they will kick you while you're down because they get off on it. It's disgusting. It's evil. Do not fall into the same trap that I did, which is having so much empathy. Somebody who would never give up on the person that I love, because that's what I am. I love unconditionally. I've seen the wounds in this person, but they choose to not want to heal them. They choose to not want to evolve. They just want their next source of supply. And so your empathy can make you fall victim to this predator. Caution, 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 because the collateral damage that they intentionally cause is very hard to come out of. You will be left feeling exhausted. It can be emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically. So it's chances are you will go through a dark night of the soul, but just keep clinging to the Christ energy. Another sin that this entity can come on full throttle within people who are choosing this is through lies and deception. Because see, the enemy wants to destroy. The enemy is chaos. The enemy is betrayal. The enemy is lies. They lie to themselves even. God is truth. God does not create confusion. God does not hurt. Love, true love, which I thought on my end it was true love, on this person's it wasn't. They will bring out every single thing. If you are in the middle of a discard, they will bring up things that they feel on the inside of themselves, and they will project it onto you. Because let's be real, the whole situationship that you have formed with this person, they've been paying attention to what your vulnerabilities are, whether it be emotional abandonment, physical abandonment, your purity of heart, your kindness, your compassion, and they will use that against you in the long run. And I'm telling you, you have to have the full armor of God. Again, back to what I was saying, you know, I do energy healing, I do astrology, I do oracles, all through God. There is nothing that protects you against these type of evil people more than the energy of Yeshua, more than the energy of the Christ. So it's important that we build that intimate relationship with our Creator, our brother in Christ, so to speak. Again, I'm not religious, so if you're new here today, I have busted out of the walls of religion, which was meant to suppress us, but I do realize the significance and the symbolism of the Christ energy and that purity. And again, we have to be feeling it and intimately connecting in our hearts, not just saying it. Because this person that I loved, or still do love and trying to unlove because he wasn't real, I had bought him several different cross necklaces, because what they do is mirror you. When you get in a situationship with these people, they just mirror and mimic who you are. So in all actuality, you fell in love with you. And I didn't know this, right? I wish I would have. That's why I'm putting this out there today, because I had no idea that I was actually just being mirrored. And so when you're trying to, quote, unlove this person who threw you away like trash, put you in the dungeon in the basement, sealed you up like you were a coffin, and have jumped onto their next supply, which a lot of times is, whether it's male or female, is a Jezebel energy. Because let's be real, anybody, any woman or man who spreads their legs and opens their house, not home, to a married man or a woman, they have negative energies. Another thing you'll notice too as well, again, sometimes things happen and there's growth in a marriage, but if you are somebody who's going through marriage after marriage after marriage, there's a good chance that you haven't done your inner fucking work. And I know this because I've been through now, sadly I'm still married, but 2 marriages, and this one I gave my heart and soul to. I had no idea it was the enemy. I had no idea I was sleeping with the enemy. I love this person with my heart and soul. They don't want to heal. They pretended and put the mask on like they wanted to grow and evolve. And right up until the last week when I was discarded, I was still getting love notes via text or written on the table of I love you, have a good day. The whole while they were already dabbling with this other person. It's way more than just an affair, people. I would, again, never have believed it till I seen it. The entity possession that entered this person. And it's actually very sad, but don't let your empathy take you back into this situation. They are out to destroy you. You are now their enemy because they have gone on to this new supply. And for now, that person's unaware of it. But again, anybody who willingly opened their legs and their door to a married person is just as evil, is just as negative, and it's an actual recipe for disaster. So what else would I like to share to end this podcast today? Again, episode 5 of the Inferno, the Temptation podcast. Temptation energy, again, back to the internet thing. You have to have great discernment. We are in a spiritual battle. Something that I witnessed is, if you think you're doing really good in your household or your marriage or relationship, that is prime time for the energy of the Jezebel, the negative entities, to attack. So it's important that you have a strong foundation within yourself, within your heart, with the Christ energy to protect yourself against it. You can't heal these people. They're just going to complete the pattern, repeat the pattern over and over again. Again, you'll know them by their fruits, because they will not self-reflect. They will jump out of one relationship, in my instance, 12 years of a marriage that wasn't real for that person. Very real for me. And they will jump right into the frying pan with somebody else. Actually, they jump out of the frying pan into the fucking inferno, because it will burn, it will catch up. We reap what we sow. The God, creator, source said so. This energy of the entities and the person who's choosing it through their free will are tricksters. They think it's funny to try to be deceptive. What happens when God reveals these lies to you, who is an intuitive person? You will start questioning this person, and you'll see the true monster in them come out. And so you may have been in the fog for however long, but if you trust your God-given intuition and you stop allowing them to gaslight you, because this happened with me. When my son passed away in 2014, my connection with the Christ and God creator amplified. My intuition, my psychic abilities, my connection to the all started amping up. I had no idea that I was sleeping with the enemy until the dark energy, because this person started drinking alcohol 7 nights a week, sleeping with this Jezebel energy, which was unknown to me at the time. But looking back now, connecting the dots, that negative energy, that evil energy, was being brought into my home. It was being brought into my vessel, because I'm going to get really real and raw with you. This deception and this trickster and this person of confusion was coming home to me every night, sleeping with the person at work, going to visit this person before work, coming home, and the week that this person left me, this evil, overtaken person, slept with me. And you'll know, because you'll feel their coldness. It's changed. It's flipped. They've bought into the negative entities that have been fueling their vessel, because they are so disconnected from the Christ energy. They have chosen to disconnect from their souls and to live by the flesh. And through the power of Christ, you can heal from this. And you better take back your power of your mind, because they get in your mind. You better take back the power of your emotions, because they will manipulate your emotions, because they know you're pure. They know you are loved. They know you're connected to the Christ. And they are, no doubt about it, here to destroy you. They will leave you on the ground, and when they turn to walk away to go on to their next source of supply, whatever it is they're getting their cup filled, sex, conversation, just the ability and the freedom to be able to pull the wool over somebody else's eyes, or join up with this person and be against you. They will fuck with your emotions. They will fuck with your health. You have to have the full armor of God. And I'm bringing this to you today because it is not just me going through it. Again, with the internet, the pornography, the being able to connect with people all over the world and put these masks on so easily of, yeah, baby, let's hook up. We are no doubt sped up in the times when the enemy, the evil one, will come to destroy you, try to trick you, try to leave you dead. It's the wayward woman, right? It's the one who is opening their legs and their house to a married person. I tell you what, I've been hurting pretty good over the last couple months, but I would not want to fucking be neither one of them. And you have to remind yourself of that as well for yourself, that no matter how much you're hurting, do not fucking take these people back. Do not fuel any more into them. They already knew you loved them. They didn't give a shit. They threw you on the ground. They trampled on your fucking heart. They trampled on your life. They're good at future faking too. Really good at future faking. Pretend like you're going to go on and grow together. There is no doubt about it. There's a spiritual battle going on. And again, when you think you're starting to do really good and you're moving along, and if there's one weak person in this relationship and they are open to deception, they get off on being a trickster, they love to lie, they love the chaos because stability is boring for them. I didn't know this at the time, but it is. I lost my train of thought, but what I will just go back into my heart for a minute here and say is protect yourself. Connect every day, because if this person, here we go, back to the weakness, if this person is so easily swayed by the Jezebel energy, by just getting whatever validation they're getting from this person, in my instance, it started with some flirting at work, right? Whatever that was, when my husband could have anytime spoke up to me and told me what his needs were, and I would have gladly, as his wife, fulfilled those needs. But he chose to spark that lust, that temporary high, and fall for this Jezebel energy and go with that. Let them go. And if they are that weak, you don't want them around you. They will fucking destroy you emotionally, sometimes physically, definitely psychologically. And they were put into your world to destroy you. They love it. What at the bottom line, the end of the day, they don't fucking love themselves, and they know they have wounds because they'll a lot of times in the beginning share those wounds with you as an empath, a sensitive one. So you just have this compassionate heart going, I've been through that too. Let's heal this. Let's grow together. Let's commit and let's have this bond. Those vulnerabilities that you share with them, they will use as a fucking weapon against you. It's evil. The level of trickery, confusion, and they'll continue this pattern. It's not about a matter of feeling sorry for them, because I had complete empathy. But when a person chooses the ego and that person opens themselves up to the alcohol, the drugs, the pornography, whatever it is they're taking in, and they go ahead and they fuel that, and that entity possession comes back sevenfold in somebody who's reverted back into their ways, I would not want to be them. So I hope today that you find the power of yourself. You are a divine child of God. You have to connect and protect your energy more than ever, because we're living in these modern days with everything's fast and everything's fit, just, and these people that are addicted to this pornography and all this shit that's happening, even on social media, little backdoors, sitting at home with your wife and texting and sexting some other Jezebel shit. You are opening yourself up to the Jezebel energy. I've fucking seen it. I would have never believed it again until I seen it. The dark eyes, the changed voice, and they looked right through me like I could have been killed, really, to be honest with you. And if it wasn't for the power of Christ within me, again, when it was happening, I didn't know what was happening, but now that I know, and there's no unseeing that. If you ever felt like you couldn't pray in front of a person that you were with, there's a good chance that they're evil. Again, back to the cross thing. I bought several crosses for my soon ex-husband, and he just mirrored my own divine white light in me in the beginning. But the end of the day is when he packed up his one overnight bag and his party supplies, his ashtray, his boombox, and his Red Wings shirts, because this person also likes the Red Wings like me, so he's putting on that mask for the next person. He took those cross necklaces, which is very telling. And there ain't no cross necklace in the world gonna fucking save you till you go into your inner shadows. You first of all need to be cleansed of the energy that you've been in, the vibration you've been in, of the evil spirits. The fooled by the Jezebel energy because you were a weak person. You need to cleanse. You need to fucking repent and mean it. You need to go into the wilderness by yourself like the Christ did and get down to the bare bones of why you are getting off on destroying people, destroying your wife, your husband, destroying my adult daughter, destroying your home. I'm speaking to somebody else out there today because I'm telling you it's amped up with the energy of the internet. These fleshly things, you got to beat your flesh down every day. I do it myself, where my mind will start telling me lies of the enemy of I'm not good enough, that it's my fault this person fucking shit on me. That's a lie. That's a lie. I rebuke you, Satan. I rebuke you, negative entities, because through the power of Christ and my heart and my compassion, the truth, the creator of truth, because that's what it is. God, Christ, is the truth, the way. The enemy is deception and lies. We all have that battle of the wolf within us. Choose wisely. Choose to feed the good wolf, because we are being hit on this earth plane, left, right, center, back. A lot of us sleeping with the fucking enemy. I pray this helps somebody. Share it out to other people who are going through this betrayal, deception, lies, trickery, adultery. Save yourself. Call upon that Holy Spirit and the Christ energy. Much love to you guys. Shalom.